Welcome. Welcome back again. It is I, Mr.Gone, and this is the Raid Shadow Legends video. Now, today we're going to be talking about a team that I'm sure maybe one or two of you have come across, maybe once or twice in Arena, and that is the Ninja Turtles. And this is one of those teams that you come across that when they're all together, they can be pretty difficult to deal with. And that's not necessarily because any individual member is like impossible to beat. It's just that they work so well together. And that being said, let's have a look. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say now, full disclosure, that I did not go for the Ninja Turtles, and that was not because they weren't any good. I wholeheartedly believe that it was because the nostalgia did not hit me the same as it did a lot of other players. Back in the day when the Ninja Turtles were a big thing and everybody was going crazy over it, like I couldn't give a shit less. And I sorry if I offend anybody by that. I just full disclosure, and so I think that that's what kind of played into it when I saw like who it was coming out, that I was kind of already in the state of mind, and so I didn't care to even try. And by the time I saw the content creators coming out with all these different videos and whatnot, and like I saw more and more videos of like, oh well, they're pretty good, they do all these things and they work together and yada yada, and at that point I already missed the boat, so it was a little late. So then I started to come across them in Arena, and as probably a few of you did as well, walked into it thinking I had a pretty good setup going on, and then got smoked. And so once the attacking started, it seemed like it just didn't stop until I was dead. And so because of said smokage, I just started looking at as soon as I saw the Ninja Turtle team on the other side there, like I just immediately looked at it and my brain said, that's a hassle that I don't feel like dealing with right now. And I would just skip it and I would just move on to the next. And so I just want to start by saying that this isn't going to be like a top 10 list of the best counters. Like I'm not going to do that. I'm literally just here to show you the way I think while using the team that I do use. So let's see here. Now I have not ran any of my arena battles yet today because I saved this specifically because at least I knew that at least one time I would be able to, even if I got to do some refreshes here, at least one time I would have a Ninja Turtle team to go against to show you here. Now, I want to say that I have ran this specific team probably 30 times now against Ninja Turtles, and I've only lost once. And before anybody gets mad at me here, yes, this is a pretty late game team here. I 100% agree with you, and I know that not everybody's going to have these champs. And the thing that we're not going to focus on who I have in my team. We're going to focus on what is the role that they play and who do you have that plays those same roles. So don't get mad at me and think, oh, of course you're going to win. You got all these, super meta champs. Your team power is higher than theirs. So I mean, there's a lot of going on here that you can be mad at. Please don't be mad at me. We're not focusing on who I have, as I always tell you. We're focusing on the role that they play and who do you have. So I think we're gonna do this. So we're gonna go and show you a screenshot here. This is from our last siege battle here, and I did not tell him I was going to do this, so I love you, Shem. Please don't leave. And this is not, I'm not doing this to shame Shem. So I'm here. This is not a bad team. This is actually a really good team. And in most cases, this team works very well. and it will pump the brakes for a lot of players that come in and try to go against them in the siege battles that we have. So um, but when I saw this, I was like, this is the perfect example, or the perfect screenshot I can take to get my point across for a couple of different things. One being that he has half the power that Shem does over here, but he still won. So going against a team of a lot larger power than yours, you can still win. And the other point being that it's just that he didn't have the right tools in his toolbox to deal with what was going on over here. It wasn't this is a bad team. This is a very good team, and and like I said, in most cases this works. It's just this team worked better as a unit to deal with what he. Now I'm saying if this were live arena, he would probably have picked different people. So it's not fair to point the finger and laugh at Shem. He has a really good team here, and he's a really good guy. I love you, Shem. Now we're going to bring in the next screenshot here, which is where I come in and be the hero and go against the exact same team. And I ended up winning with the team that I'm showing you here today. So this is because I brought in the right tools to deal with the problem over here. And yes, I have a more player power, but as you saw, Shem had literally twice the player power, the team power that this guy over here, Troy Stone, hi Troy, that he had, but he still won. So that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is a perfect example of out in the wild, what it looks like out in the wild of when a team matters more than the individual champions. You can have all the greatest champs and throw them all together. I'm not saying that's what he did. I'm just saying the point is that is why having a cohesive team is more important than just picking your ultra meta champs and throwing them together because they're super strong. So what makes this team difficult, like I said, isn't because any of the individual champs are just so meta that you can't beat them. It's how they work together, and once they get going, they're going to get going. They have a passive where every time one of them attacks, all of them attack. That's 16 attacks before you get around to your second turn. So that there's just going to be like pressure coming from this team from what seems like all directions, and that's what's going to seem to get overwhelming, and it's going to make you think, well, what do I even focus on? What do I try to stop? What am I trying to do? What do I need to do? And it's like when you're looking at a team like this that works so well together, you're not necessarily thinking, what's the best counter, because there isn't going to be a best, like one best counter. You got to think of, what do I need over here? What's going to happen? What do I need? What am I going to need to survive? Is there something over here that I need to put a stop to? And is there something that's going to happen over here that is going to make the run fail because of something over here? And if there is there something I can make, maybe one of my champs I can swap out and fix that? So for me, this team is built around I got the speed lead, I got the block damage, I got the the cooldown increase, and then I got my nuker. So that's really it. Those are the roles that I needed to fill. He's got the speed lead, and the turn meter increase. I needed to stay ahead. Those are the types of roles that I felt like I needed to fill. And like I was saying, even if you don't have back here, if you don't have these, if you don't have the people that I have here, you're going to go to, you want like a turn meter increase. Where are we at? Build turn meter. We got people like Arbiter, she's got the increased attack, and then the turn meter increase. She also heals and, revives. She's got the speed lead. Deacon's another good one. He's got the fills turn meters and decreases turn meters of the enemy team, an extra turn. So there's that. And then we got Yumeko, Yumeko, yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying. Anyways, we got your negative effects, increased skill cooldown. Alice. Alice is somebody that everybody should have. Well, a lot of people should have at this stage. Her A2 attacks all enemies. Increase the cooldown of all enemy skills. It's if you could find somebody that does multiple roles all at the same time, the more the merrier. Instead of just one role, she fills a few. She could be partially a nuker. She increases the cooldowns. We also got Shitty Basher here, and the only reason why anybody picks Basher is this right here. Attacks all enemies, increases cooldown on all skills on each enemy by 2 turns, and he's also a void, so that helps out. So I mean, there's those other options, and then we got Helicath. He places block damage for 2 turns. Well, he also has a passive that counterattacks with his default skill whenever an ally is hit while under black damage, so that comes in pretty handy. Now I'm just letting you know that you're going to want to have that up for 2 turns. And I at least on my roster, I only have a few that will do that. That's Helicath, and then you got Alsgore here that also fully heals a target ally, places block damage for 2 turns, and then you also got Roshguard, places a block damage buff on all allies for 2 turns. A lot of the others, at least the ones that I have, will do it for 1 turn, or it's only if they revive somebody, or it's just on themselves. So look around and see who you got. If you don't have block damage, you could also, which may be better, and you'll see why here in a second, the Unkillable. Now, Saint Nick is somebody who does Unkillable and a continuous heal, and then he also puts a counterattack on himself, which is also going to allow him to possibly place a freeze debuff, which would be pretty handy. But you also got good old Maneater. You got him in the vault, pull him out. Here's his time to shine. Places Unkillable buff and block debuffs on all allies for 2 turns. So I mean, there's other options, available. You don't have to have these champions specifically. You just need to find somebody to fill the roles these champions that I chose to use are doing. And then it's of course for your damage dealer. I chose Marius because on my account he's one of the best damage dealers I have. Now, if you do use Marius, I'm just going to warn you, you're going to want to start with this. Increase accuracy, increase defense, and then places a stun, and then he gets an extra turn, and then you're going to go into your A2, which is the attacks all enemies 3 times, and each hit decreases the duration of enemy buffs by 1 turn. Each hit will do that, and it's enemy max HP. Now you're going to want to do it that way, but I'm telling you don't do it that way, because you're going to want to keep the block damage or the Unkillable, whichever it is that you're using. You're going to want to keep that up as long as possible. My approach, and the reason why I chose this route in the first place, was the way to avoid dying is to not get hurt. Makes sense to me. And so if you use this and then go into this, that takes both of your turns away of the block damage or the Unkillable. So just lead with the A2. Now, I chose Marius because on my account, that's one of the best nukers that I have. You can go with the single target, but again, leading back to what I just said, the longer you stay in the fight and whatnot, the better chances of you getting nuked out. It's happened to me numerous times in live arena where I had somebody whittled down to nothing. And I'm just thinking, aha, I got him now. And then all it took was one good crit from the other team, or what was left of the other team, and then it just wipes me out, and I'm just yep, good game. And so I personally would recommend using AoE, but I mean, do what you feels right for you. If you got somebody like Predator or He-Man, those are both good, especially like He-Man in this case, because He has an A2 single target, but it will ignore stone skin, find it necessary. But then, even if you want to go way back, you got people like Magnar. He's got, percussive pound, attacks all enemies, places an extra hit on enemies without HP burn. And in the team that we're setting up here today, there's not going to be any HP burn. So, but basically, what I'm saying is find what works for you, and then roll with that. Like I said before in other videos, um, an old shitty hammer is still a hammer. It's just my hammer has a wider head, comfort grip, and a shiny paint job. But an old shitty hammer will still hammer a nail. So grab your old shitty hammer and go to work. So we're gonna go into the fight here, and hopefully this doesn't turn into an Ash video. So here we go. Make sure I got everything. Yep. All right, let's see what happens here. Hopefully this goes as planned, or boy, am I going to have egg on my face. I don't think I've ever said that in my entire life. What better chance to say it than now? All right, let's see here. All right, so we go first, which is usually, typically most people will not build this team as a super fast team. So this is where we're going to go in with her decreased cooldowns of all allies by 3 turns, which we don't really need yet. What we're using it for is increase the cooldowns of all enemy skills by 3 turns. So that's what we're going here. Got them all. So good. That now controls what they're able to do to me. And it seems for most of them, I'm quite a bit ahead. So I could go in right now and before attacking, places block debuffs on all allies. After attacking, places block debuffs on all enemies, but decreases the duration of all buffs on all enemies by 2 turns. So every one of these is protected. So 1, that's not going to work anyway. So what we're going to do here is fills turn meter of all allies by 20%, also decreases the turn meter of all enemies by 20%. So that's what we're going to go with here. Now we place the block damage for 2 turns. And then we go in the A2. And this is a super tanky team. Wow, they're absolutely a tanky team here. So let's see here. We'll put this over here. Wow. Wow, this is really not going well for me today. This may turn into an Ash video after all. All right, let's see here. Now, I think we'll just go with the. All right, all right, all right. Got to whittle everybody down here. Let's see. I think we'll go here. Now we'll go here. So this one turned out to be a little bit tougher than some of the other ones that I did. We still won, but I had to actually think about that one a little bit more than some of them. But that was a good example. Did you see what I meant about how well they work as a cohesive unit? Let's see if we can find some more turtle teams here. Oh, here's another one. Let's do this again. I want to do this a few times. I just want to get the point across. That was a better built one. Damage. Oh. They're going to do their attacks. And this right here is where a lot of people will just start to get just hammered into the ground. This is where a lot of people will start to get just completely nuked. Let's see. Let's see. Slowly starting to whittle them down. And this is where, all right. Okay. And again. Oh my goodness, must be my birthday. We got two more. I'll do these here. I just want to show you that it wasn't a fluke. Now, like I said, some of these teams are going to be a lot tougher than others. Some of them you'll kind of breeze right through. Some of them not so much. And oh, like that right there. This might be a problem. So this was one of those teams, like I said, they don't typically build them super fast. But in this case, they 100% did. So, all right, we got back around to it. We got lucky there. I thought we were going to get it. I thought we were going to get it, boys and girls. But fortunately, we came back around. That was, I had not had that happen yet. That they actually built that one a little bit faster. Typically, like I said, they don't build these teams for speed. They build them to work well together, and so they'll maybe build them a little tankier, or something like, or they'll put some stone skin on them, or you know what I mean, things like that. But typically, they're not super fast. Typically, you'll be able to get ahead of them. And that's the whole point of this team, is to get ahead of them before they are able to do any of the things they're going to do. This one seems like, well, I better not speak before I actually win. So we'll see how it goes here. That there. Let's see. So far, so good. I think we got this one in the bag as well, boys and girls. As I said, all it takes is one good nuke and it's over. So, all right. Anyways, I think you get the point now on how that team works. And even in that case before, where this is with the team here, where they were actually faster, it came in clutch that Lazarius was a reviver. So, like I said, this is just one way that you can approach the team. It's not the only way, I'm sure. Like I said in the Nubs video, like there was a couple other strategies, but they seemed a little, I don't know, hit and miss with me. This one seemed a little more of a sure way to, like I said, like if you're, it's hard to get killed if you're not getting hurt. And that was my whole strategy going into it. So it's not really about the team that I'm using. It's understanding what you need to bring in the fight, and when you simplify it, you break it down that way into like just parts, like what part does this person play, and what parts are needed, and who do I have to fill those roles. It becomes a lot less overwhelming. And you don't need to have the perfect team. You just need to have a team to solve the right problems. And so, how about in the comments below? Why don't you let us know like what your experiences have been going against the Turtles in Arena? Have you been winning? Have you been losing? Do you have the Turtle team? Do you run it? How well does it work out? And that being said, I hope you have a great day / night. And I'll see you next time. Bye.